Hello everyone. Uh, we are back with another lesson today, and hope you are all doing well in this difficult situation. And so, we are going to start. We are going to start with subject-verb agreement today. I know you all have learned this thing but we thought let's start with the basic first, and then we will take it further. We will take it more grammar lessons. So our today's lesson is how to apply subject verb agreement rules in a tricky situation. So as you know, every sentence has subject and verb, and then rest of the part of the sentence. So we will today in this lesson we will learn about how do we apply subject verb agreement rules in a different or in a difficult situation. So here is the basic thing we are going to start with. So nouns, pronouns, and verb forms. So for example, there are singular nouns: monkey, boy, car, shirt, lady, grandfather, and this is a present tense. So we are talking about present tense. In present tense, how do we apply subject verb agreement? So and pronouns, for all of these verbs, all of these singular nouns, we will use singular pronouns, which is she, he, she, and it. Yes. So for example, if we make a sentence, monkey eats. So in a singular subject or a singular pronoun, when we make a subject, then always we add s or es with the main verb. That we have to remember, and this is always come in a present simple tense. So he eats, she walks, it looks, yeah, he has, she has, it has, etc. So these sentences, for example, grandfather eats mango, yeah, grandfather walks, grandfather goes to the temple. So this is how we apply the verb and subject verb agreement. But when we have a plural subject, a plural noun or plural pronoun, do we need to use s or es with the verb, or we don't use s or es with the verb when we have a subject, plural subject or a plural noun? So let's take a look. So for example, if we have a subject monkeys, boys, cars, shirts, ladies, grandparents, these are all plural subjects, and these are all plural nouns: I, you, we, and they. So for these pronouns or these nouns, we use the main verb. We do not add s or es with the main verb, because these are all plural subjects, or these are all plural pronouns. For example, I eat, you walk, we go, they look, and this is how these are all the sentences, or these are all the subject and verb agreement. This is how we apply. So what did we learn? We have learned with the singular noun or singular pronoun, we always use s or es with the main verb if the sentence is in present simple tense. With the with with plural noun and plural pronoun, we do not add s or es with the main verb in present simple tense. So even though I and you are singular pronoun, but we always use main verb without s or es with I and you. This is a rule, so we have to follow that. So these two rules work with all the forms of subject verb agreement except B. Verb B has five forms. Five forms are, for example, am, is, are, was, or were. So how do we use, where do we use am, where do we use is, where do we use are, where do we use was, were? Was, were always come in past tense, and these are all for present tense. These are for present and these for past. That we all know. So for example, if we have a singular subject, present tense, singular and plural. So present tense, anyway, present tense, I is a singular subject, and we singular pronoun, and we always use am with I. Am always come only and only with I, and it does not come with other subject or other pronouns. He, she, it, we use is, and you, we, they, we use are, because you, we, and they are the plurals. These are plurals. And in past tense, singular pronouns are I, he, she, it. but we use was with all of them. We do not have an alternative of am in past tense. For example, when we have am in present tense and we only use am with I, but we do not have the alternative of am in past tense. So what do? We always use was with I. Alright, because I is a singular pronoun. So I, he, she, it. So I was, she was, he was, it was, and you, we, they. These are all plural pronouns. So what do we use with them? Were. So you were, we were, they were. So these are the basic rules of subject verb agreement. And in next video we will learn more about this topic. So as I told in first video, we will learn more about subject and verb agreement. So in this video we will learn about prepositional phrases and how do the prepositional phrases create problem to identify a verb in a subject in a sentence. So first of all, here are some examples which we have to choose a verb is or are in these sentences, in these examples. So, and we will choose the verb according to the subject or according to the noun. So first example is the cookies. Two verbs is and are. We have to choose which one is correct in this sentence. The cookies is are for mono. So what do you see over here? What is the subject in this sentence? Cookies is the subject. And is cookies singular subject or a plural subject? Cookies is a plural noun or it's a plural subject. So what do we use with plural noun or with plural subject? Are. Remember, we recently learned in our first video, we always use with the plural noun and plural subject or plural pronoun are. So what would be the right or would be the correct verb in this sentence? Are would be the correct verb in this sentence. So the cookies are for mono. This is our simple sentence. Let's see the second sentence. Second sentence is the box of chocolates is are for Aslam. So, can you see a preposition in this sentence? Somewhere preposition? Yes, we can see a preposition. This is a preposition. Of is a preposition. And chocolates. So, this is a preposition. And this is an object. And when a preposition and object come together, both makes prepositional phrase. Prepositional phrase. So in second sentence we have a prepositional phrase over here. And what does a prepositional phrase do? Always a prepositional phrase come between the verb and the noun. Right? Where is the place of a prepositional phrase? Prepositional phrase come between the noun and the verb. And prepositional phrase always describe the noun. Sometimes tell about the quality or quantity and other, it works like an adjective. So, of chocolates is a prepositional phrase in this sentence, and of chocolates talk about what? The box. And the box is a, so box is a subject in this sentence. What is the subject in this sentence? The box is a subject. And box is what? Is it a singular subject or a plural subject? Think about it. It is a singular subject. And what do we use over here? Is or are? Is. Because with singular subject we always use is. So the box of chocolates is for Aslam. So what is the correct answer is here? The box of chocolate is for Aslam, and prepositional phrase is of chocolates, which talks about the box, right? So this is how we identify a prepositional phrase. And how does it create problem? Because sometimes we think, okay, chocolates is a subject here and chocolates is a plural subject, so we have to choose are. But chocolates is not a subject in this sentence. Of chocolates, both of them are making a prepositional phrase, and describing about the box. And the phrase which describe about the box is called a prepositional phrase, right? So let's see in third sentence. A wallet with 4 credit cards were found in the garden. Think about it. What should we use over here? So first of all, we have to identify if there is a prepositional phrase in this sentence. Can we see a preposition somewhere? Yes, this is a preposition. Remember, preposition always come after the subject, and subject always come in the beginning of a sentence, right? So the wallet with preposition. So with is a preposition, and 4 credit cards is an object. So preposition and object together make a prepositional phrase. So what is the prepositional phrase in this sentence? With 4 credit cards. So this phrase is describing about what? A wallet. Where are the credit cards? Where are the 4 credit cards? In a wallet. So what is the subject here? Wallet is a subject. And wallet is singular or plural? Wallet is singular. So what do we use with what would be the correct verb in this sentence? Was or were? Was would be the correct verb in this sentence, because the subject is singular, and always with singular subject we use was. So the correct sentence is a wallet with 4 credit cards was found in the garden, because this sentence is talking about a wallet, not about with 4 credit cards, because the credit cards with the wallet, not they are on their own, right? So the right sentence is a wallet with 4 credit cards was found in the garden. Right. Next sentence. Some students in my class speaks German as their first language. So what should we do in first? So first of all, we have to identify, is there any prepositional phrase in this sentence? And how do we recognize, how do we identify a prepositional phrase? First we have to see the preposition. So can we see a preposition in this sentence? Yes, this is a preposition. In is a preposition, right? So in and my class is object. This is an object and this is a preposition. And always preposition plus object makes a prepositional phrase. So what is a prepositional phrase in this sentence? Is in my class. And in my class is talking about students. Some students, not one students. So it's not a accurate number of students, but it's definitely more than one student. And when we have more than one thing, then it's always a plural noun. So this subject is a singular or a plural? This is a plural subject, right? And with plural subject, we do not add s or es with the verb. We always use the root verb. We always use the main verb. And what is the main verb in this sentence? Speak is the main verb, and speaks is added s or es in a main verb. So the correct sentence is, some students in my class speak German as their first language. Yeah, and I will introduce you some common prepositions. So there are some common prepositions, list of common prepositions: of, in, on, at, by, with, to, for, from, about, between, above, below, before, after, up, down, amongst, besides, and next to. When we have preposition and an object, then it's a prepositional phrase, and we cannot decide a verb in the sentence according to the prepositional phrase. So do not get confused. In next video, we will talk about more. So in last video, we have learned about how prepositional phrases create problem in a sentence to choose the correct verb according to the noun or according to the subject. Same situation also can create relative clauses in the sentence. So we will learn how do we choose a verb in a sentence if we have a relative clause in the sentence. Yeah. So let's take first example. The vintage watch which I received as a birthday gift from my grandparents is are one of my most prized possession. First of all, we have to understand what relative is. Relative, something belongs, something relates to the subject, or something relates to a noun, or something we purchase or something we own. That is what relative, or whether it is what relate means, or this is how we identify a relative clause. If we own something, if something relates to us or belong to us, then we use relative clause over there. So the vintage watch is a brand. Vintage is a brand, like a brand, and it's very expensive watch also. So the vintage watch which I received as a birthday gift from my grandparents is, we have to choose verb over here. Yeah, according to the subject, one of my most prized possession. So how do we identify a relative clause in this sentence? So which, the sentence, the thing, the part of sentence beginning from which is a relative pronoun, and when a sentence begins with a relative pronoun, then it's called a relative clause. So which I received as a birthday gift from my grandparents, one of my most prized possession. So possession is a relate, right? So this is a relative clause. Relative clause. Yes. And what does a relative clause do? Relative clause talks about the relation of a subject in the sentence. And when a relative clause comes between a subject and a verb, then we have to choose the verb according to the subject, not according to the relative clause. If the relative clause comes between a subject and a verb, and in this sentence the relative clause is between the subject and the verb. So what is the subject here? Vintage watch, because this entire clause is talking about vintage watch. This entire clause is describing the quality, or describing the quality, or describing about the vintage watch. And watch is a singular. This is a subject and it is a singular noun. So we have to decide the verb according to the subject. And if we have a singular subject, then we will choose is or are. We will choose is. So what is the correct answer here? Is. And the sentence would be, the vintage watch which I received as a birthday gift from my grandparents is one of my most prized possession. You understand? Okay. So let's take some more examples. Next example, the architect who designed some of the city's biggest skyscrapers lives in a modest two-bedroom apartment. So skyscraper means biggest building or big buildings, and modest means simple. So first of all, what we have to do in this sentence, we have to identify a relative pronoun, if there is a relative pronoun in this sentence or not. Can we see a relative pronoun? Yes, this is a relative pronoun. And the entire, after relative pronoun, this sentence is a relative clause. Relative clause. So, and what relative clause is doing in this sentence? This relative clause is talking about the architect. Yes. So this is relative clause, and this is your subject. And the relative clause is coming between verb and the subject. So we have to choose the verb according to the subject or according to the relative clause. According to the subject, because the relative clause is coming between the subject and the verb. And what is the subject? Architect is the subject. And is it a singular subject or plural subject? It is a singular subject. So the verb would be singular or plural? Singular. So live is singular also, lives is a singular. So we will use lives because it's a present tense, and when we have a singular subject in present tense, then we always add s or es with the main verb, which we have learned in our first video. Yes. So the correct answer is lived, and the sentence would be: the architect who designed some of city's biggest skyscrapers lived in a modest 2-bedroom apartment. Right. The next sentence is: the only books that I actually enjoyed when I was a kid were superhero comics. Yeah, it's a long sentence. And first of all, what we have to do, we have to identify the relative clauses in the sentence. So that is a relative pronoun. Yes, and the sentence from here to here is relative clause. Relative clause, and when is also relative pronoun. So this is also a relative clause. So how many relative clauses we have in this sentence? We have 2 relative clauses in this sentence. So we need not to worry about that. We can have more than 1 relative clauses in a one sentence. So don't worry about that. It doesn't create any problem. So again, the relative clauses are between the verb and the subject. So we have to choose the verb according to the subject, not according to the relative clause. And what is the subject? What these relative clauses are talking about? About the books. Yeah, and books is plural subject. And when we have plural subject, we will use, what will we use? Was or were? We will use were. So the right answer would be were. And how do we say the sentence again? The only books that I actually enjoyed when I was a kid were superhero comics. So I hope you understand the relative clauses and how do we choose a verb according to the subject and in a sentence when we have a relative clauses as well in it. So looking of all of these sentences, how do we identify the relative clauses? So there are some relative pronouns which which explain about the relative clauses. If a sentence begin with that, which, who, where, when, these are all relative clauses. These are all demonstrate the relative clauses. Yeah. So if the relative clause comes between verb and subject, we have to choose the verb according to the subject. In next video, we have a quiz. So I hope you are excited for the quiz. Yeah. So we are now we are going to do a quiz, and we will check our knowledge that how much we have learned about verb and subject and verb agreement in last videos. So choose the correct form of verb in each sentence. So first of all, the first sentence: athletes from over 200 countries competes in the Olympics. So first of all, we have to see, is there a prepositional phrase in this sentence or relative clause in this sentence? So from is a preposition, and this entire part is a prepositional phrase. So this prepositional phrase talks about the subject, and what is the subject? Athletes. So athletes from over 200 countries compete, because this subject is plural. This is a plural subject. This subject is talking about more than one. So the correct sentence would be: the athletes from over 200 countries compete in the Olympics. Next sentence: that puppy with blue eyes is the cutest little animal I have ever seen. So the prepositional phrase is with blue eyes, and this sentence has a relative clause as well. But we don't see any that, who, where, when. So if the sentence or which, if the sentence begins with that, who, where, which, when, these are all relative clauses. But we don't see. So see the sentence over here: I have ever seen. So that if we properly write this sentence or in a different part, so that will come over here: that I have. The puppy with blue eyes, the cutest little animal that I have ever seen. But that is hidden here. So that is why we don't write that, but it is there, and that is why this part is a relative clause. Relative clause. So that puppy with blue eyes is a prepositional phrase, is are the cutest animal I have ever seen. I have ever seen a relative clause. And what is the subject in this sentence? Puppy is the subject. And is puppy singular or plural? Puppy is a singular subject. So what will we use with puppy? What will we use with the singular subject? Is or are? We will use is. So the correct sentence would be that puppy with blue eyes is the cutest little animal I have ever seen. Next sentence, diseases that affect the hearts called cardiovascular diseases, right? So diseases that. So that is a relative pronoun, and the sentence from here to here is a relative clause. So this is a relative clause, and this relative clause is coming between the verb and the subject. So what is the subject? Diseases is the subject, and it's a plural subject. So what is the correct answer? Correct verb are is the correct verb in this sentence. So the complete sentence is diseases that affect the heart are called cardiovascular diseases. Right. Next sentence, that guy standing at the counter looks like a bodybuilder. Right. So first of all, we have to identify there must be a prepositional phrase or a relative clause in this sentence. But we don't see that, we don't see who, we don't see when, we don't see which, we don't see where, we don't see when. So again, here, that guy here is who is standing. So who is hidden in this sentence over here, right? If we write in a different way this sentence, that it would be that guy who is standing. So this part of sentence is a relative clause. Relative clause, and the relative clause is coming between the verb and the subject. So what is the subject? Guy. Guy is a subject, and it's a singular noun. So what will we choose? We will choose looks, because with singular subject or with singular pronoun in present tense we always add s or es with the main verb. So the sentence would be that guy standing at the counter looks like a bodybuilder. I hope you understand the subject verb agreement lesson, and in next video we will learn about independent and dependent clauses, or phrases versus clauses. Alright, so in our last videos we have learned about subject and verb agreement, and now we will talk about phrases versus clauses, because in the last videos we have learned what phrases are and what clauses are. So now we have to understand the difference between the phrases and the clauses. So first of all, I will explain you what phrase is. Phrase means no subject and verb combination. It could have a verb, but it does not have a subject. So phrase is always no subject verb combination or no subject verb agreement. But a clause always has subject and verb combination or subject and verb agreement. For example, if I have example here, near my home. Here we don't see any verb, we don't see any subject in this sentence. Alright, so this is what phrase is. So, and always it comes in a between verb and a subject, the phrase. And Rina won the bicycle race. This sentence has complete whatever required for a sentence. For example, Rina is subject and won is verb. So this sentence has subject and verb combination. That is why this is called a clause, and this does not have the combination what this have. Okay, so near my home, this does not have subject and verb combination, that is why it is phrase. Okay, so with more examples we will understand type of phrases and what kind of phrases are can come in a sentence. So the first sentence is my two wonderful dogs. In this sentence again we do not see a subject and we do not see a verb in it. The tallest building in the world, or again in this sentence we don't see a verb and a subject in it, but we see a noun. We see nouns over here, right? Building, these are two nouns in this sentence. So we will call both of these sentences, we will call noun phrase. Noun phrase. And next two sentences could not go. We have verb in this sentence but we do not have a subject. Will be working. Again this is a verb and this is a verb, but there is no subject in this sentence. So we will call these two, we will call verb phrases. Next, very friendly, afraid of the dark. Very friendly, afraid of the dark. So very friendly, very is adjective and afraid is also adjective, because both of them, friendly is adjective and afraid is also afraid is adjective and dark is adjective. So these are talking about a quality of a noun or quality of a noun. So these two phrases called adjective phrase. Adjective phrase. Next, really fast, much quicker. Really fast and much quicker. These talk about the quality of a verb. Yeah. So these two phrases are adverb phrase. Adverb phrase. Near the post office. Near is a preposition, and on the 29th, on is also a preposition. So these two phrases are prepositional phrase. So we have different type of phrases, which is noun phrases, verb phrases, adjective phrases, adverb phrases and prepositional phrases. Yes. And now we will learn about independent and dependent clauses. So recently we have learned the difference between phrases and clauses. Now we will learn about types of clauses. So mainly there are two types of clauses: independent clauses and dependent clauses. And clauses have subject and verb combination, which means a sentence which has subject and verb in it, that is called clause. And the first one is independent clause, which stands alone, and the other one is dependent clause, which cannot stand alone. Always a dependent clause needs an independent clause to exist. Without an independent clause, a dependent clause then doesn't exist. Yeah. So for example, he ate dinner. This has subject and verb over here, and this sentence can stand alone. This sentence can stand alone. But here, when I go home, when I got home, so I is subject and got is verb. This sentence also has the same content which this sentence have. But why can this sentence not stand alone? Because it needs an independent clause to exist, and this does not have, and this is an independent clause. When I got home, it doesn't exist. Yeah, we have to add an independent clause to complete this sentence or to help this sentence to stand. So what would be the correct sentence? When I got home, he ate dinner. So this is dependent clause, and to make it in existence we used an independent clause in the end of this complete sentence, right? So You understand the difference between dependent and independent clause? Both the similarity is both of the clauses have subject and verb agreement, and the difference is independent clause stands alone, but dependent clause always depend on an independent clause, or it does not exist without an independent clause, or it cannot stand alone without an independent clause. For example, please send me the report tomorrow if you can. Can we identify the clauses over here? Which one is dependent clause and which one is independent clause? So please send me the report tomorrow. This is a complete sentence and it has subject and verb. Send is verb and the report is subject, right? So please send me the report tomorrow. This is independent clause. Independent clause, and if you can is a dependent clause. Dependent clause. This also have subject and verb over here, but it does not exist without independent clause, right? So how do we identify a dependent clause in a sentence? There must be some words or pronouns which relates to dependent clause, or which come with dependent clause always. So usually dependent clause have words like when, while, whenever, before, after, because, if, and unless. I hope you understand the difference and the similarity between independent and dependent clause. But always remember, dependent clause cannot stand alone without an independent clause, but an independent clause can stand its own or itself. Thank you.